Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another tutorial making ephemera for the Fairy Magic Journals. I am just about to the point where we're going to start taking an inventory of all of the pieces that we have. We've been making a ton for these journals, and then we'll start focusing on the journal cover. So one of the journals is going to be, I don't know if you guys remember back in one of the very first videos, I showed you a doily that I thought would make a great cover. It would wrap around and I'd be able to kind of make a closure on the front of it. It's got a purple crocheted flower on it. So I think I'm going to use that for one of the journals. It's probably going to be a 2 signature journal, a little bit smaller, and then the other one is the lap book style, so it's got the things that flip out. So you can check out the playlist if you want to see what I'm talking about there. So today I follow and watch all of Shana over at Shinoki Art do her little index card creations, and so I tend to go really elaborate with my mixed media, and I thought I would just kind of bring it down a little bit and do a little bit of a simpler kind of process for you guys. So what I've got here is I've got some Distress Oxides. We're going to do some ink smushing. I've got my Vintage Photo Archival ink. I use archival ink because it will not reactivate with other fluids or water. So it's permanent once you use it. I've got a background stamp here. This is one of my favorite Paris stamps. We're going to be using that to do some background stamping. And then I already kind of made my little focal points. So I'm going to be using these fussy cut fairies from my fairy books. Goodness gracious. I'm going to start really cutting into those in terms of like, there's poems for every fairy. I cannot wait to use that. So I've got 4 of them. So we're going to make 4 of these today. So I will be cutting out what I can. I will be speeding up what I can because this could get a little bit lengthy. I did also pull a couple of butterfly punches in case I want to add just a little bit more pizzazz to the project, so we'll see. We also will be stitching around these. My intention was to have this covered in there's a coat of gesso on both sides, but it didn't cover up the lines, so I probably needed another coat. But I think I'm going to use these. I think I'm going to use them as journal cards. I haven't quite decided. I might end up using them as a pocket. We will see. They will be very versatile. So I'm going to set aside our little bits here, way over here, so they don't get damaged. And then I'm going to also set that aside, and we're going to start doing our ink smushing. So I'm using just a half of a Tim Holtz Arranger mat, and then over here I've got the one, you guys can't even see that. Goodness gracious. Let's get that in camera, guys. My apologies. You've got to be able to see the ink smushing, right? So there we go. That's a little bit better. So I'll be doing my ink smushing on here. This is that the piece that goes on the glass mat. I don't use the glass mat because I don't like the glare, so I just don't use it. I have it, but I don't use it. So I've got 4 index cards again, already have a coat of gesso on either side. We are just not having enough space here, so maybe I need to move out a little bit. Let's try that, guys, so that I can get more in camera. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then I also have a bunch of cards over here, so I'm just going to grab a few so that I can sop up ink, because I end up wasting a lot of ink just because I don't take the time to do that, which is just foolish. So I'm going to move that stuff out of the way so I have a place to put wet ones. So let's get going. I picked brushed corduroy. I don't usually use brushed corduroy, so I thought it would be different to try something new. I also have frayed burlap. I love this ink because it has a blue undertone that often shows through, kind of a gray blue, which I really like. And then I've got peeled paint. So we're going to start with the, let's start with the frayed burlap. So I'm just going to smush it here on my mat. I'm going to get lots down because we're doing 4 cards, and I'm going to do them all the same. I thought about color coordinating them and all that jazz, but I'm not going to do that. Sorry, I need to reach for my water. An essential tool for this. Hopefully I don't run out of water because it doesn't have much in it. Goodness gracious. Here we go. So let's get a smushing. Ooh, wow, that's a lot. Actually, I'm going to go like that. That is too much. For some reason, that was just a ton. Let's see if we can get more on this one with this layer. Okay. What I really love about this is I like that splotchy look. I'm going to need a little bit more ink, but my problem is you don't want to you don't want to put more ink down when you've got wet down, I don't believe, because you can ruin your ink pad. So I'm just going to lay that down and just pull the rest of that up. Perfect. Just wipe that off, and we're going to go for another round of the frayed burlap. I'm going to show you an up close here in just a second. I can see the brush lines from my gesso, which I think is really actually quite pretty because you're getting kind of this mixed media feel to these cards. I really appreciate Shana. I think it's Shana. I always think maybe it's Shania. It's not Shania, it's Shana. But I know her as Shinoki Art, so I don't use her. Oh, I didn't wipe that up. Goodness sakes. It's Friday, the end of a long week, so I am, as the students call me, Miss Renee is very tired. So, and you know me by Cara-Renee, but my legal name is Renee, so our students call me Miss Renee, or Nay, because they can't really say my name. So I'm going to go right in with another ink. I don't mind that they're going to mix, but I wanted to show you those you can see the brush lines. And I just love this frayed burlap. It's just so interesting. So we're going to go ahead and go in. Let's just go in with the brush corduroy. Actually, let's do peeled paint first. I'm going to get a bunch on here so that we don't run out this time. And then we'll dry and see what we get. So if you don't want these to mix, you would want to dry in between. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh, so much fun. Great way to make ephemera. Very quick, very easy. I love that already. And you can use as little or as much as you want. You could do this with any kind of sprays. I have mentioned before, Distress Oxide sprays are not my favorite because they are very chalky, and I'm not really fond of that look. But for what we're doing, it is just fine, and I am embracing doing something different. So I did not gesso these, so you can see we're already getting that back through the other side, but that's okay. We're just using these to sipe them up. I can use these in clusters or whatever, so I just don't want to waste this ink. Perfect. So let me go ahead and wipe this up again. And I think I'm going to go ahead and dry these really quick so that I can go in with the last color. I'll be right back. Okay. So this is what they look like. Pretty cool. So we're going to go in with the brushed corduroy. Again, I don't usually use this color, but we're going to see how it works, how it looks. A little bit more water. And we're just going to try to get it in the spots to where we don't have, oh, this is really pretty. I love that. That's what it needed. It needed some kind of a brighter color. So I'm going to go ahead and just cover that whole thing there. Of course, you could leave white space. There's nothing wrong with white space. I like a little, but not a lot. I'm not a very good white space kind of girl. I like that. Let's get a little bit more here, so I'm just going to go ahead and sop that up again with my index card here. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Okay, here we go. So that was brushed corduroy. Get a little bit more going on here. I love this color. I didn't realize it had such a beautiful yellow undertone. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Okay. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to spray just a little bit, just to get a little bit of oxidation here. Oxidation. I can speak English. And let's just get another card and sop the rest of that up. Perfect. All right, so I am going to dry these really quick because I want to just, I was toying with the idea of coming in with a little bit of seedless preserves and milled lavender, just to kind of bring out a little bit of the colors in the focal images, the fairies. But we'll see after these are dry what they look like. So I will be right back. Okay. I love how these turned out. They're very subtle, a lot lighter than I normally would go. They're still a little bit damp, but that's all right. So I did decide I do want to come in with some other colors, because I feel like, I mean, it would actually probably be okay. It would probably be okay. But I'm going to go for it. I'm going to just go with my gut here, because we've got these beautiful purples in the fairies. So I'm going to do 3 of them with the purple, or 2 of them with the milled lavender, and 1 with the seedless preserves, and 1 with scattered straw. So let's start with the scattered straw. Don't need that much, just to give a little bit more interest. So let's do this one, just like that. Okay. Bad habit. I just wipe it off instead of trying to preserve that. So, okay, and this is the milled lavender. Really, really pale violet. I'm not sure how well it will show up, but the cool thing about Distress Oxides is they do layer. So we're just going to go really, really light. Oh, that's not really even showing. It's very, very faint. So that might not be my ticket. Let me just sop that up really quick. It's so light that I don't think it's really going to do much on these surfaces. So let me go ahead and switch to the seedless preserves. So we can change our mind, right? I remember it. This is pretty bold, but we're going to go for it. Oh, wow. That doesn't even look like purple. Oh my goodness. No, look at that. We don't want that. Let's just salt that up. I don't know what I was thinking. That's a beautiful combination though, isn't it? Just sop the rest of that up. And I'm going to wipe this up. And let me go fishing for the color that I'm actually looking for here, because it's not that. I've got some wet on this side. Let's just go ahead and dab that and see what we see. It didn't really do much. Too light. So let me grab my Distress Oxides. I bought these at Hobby Lobby. They're like a kitchen storage, and they work really great for the inks. So I'm just going to see if I can find the right color that I'm thinking of. Give me just a quick second. It looks like I only have Wilted Violet, which I find is odd. So, but that's what we've got to work with. So we're going to try that. It's purplish. Let me spritz that. It's very purplish. Oh, this was our yellow one. This is the one we put a little bit of that scattered straw. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in with this one. And I'm just going to go really, really light. Oh my goodness, that was not light. Just like that. Okay? Just like that. Just a little bit of interest. Yep. Hopefully we have enough here just to finish this one off. This is the look I was going for. I didn't want it to be overpowering, just I want a hint of color. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this mat. I'm going to dry these again, and I will be back with you in a moment. Okay, I am in love. Look at these. Look at that. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, it's just a certain look, isn't it? And this will be great for there's one fairy that's a little paler in purple tones, so that'll be perfect. And then this is the one for our scattered straw. the yellowish one. Okay, so I'm going to do some stamping here with my archival ink. This is black soot. You used to be able to buy vintage photo, a gray, the black soot, and one other color. I think it was one of the browns in a 4-pack, and it was a great deal, and now I can't find it on Amazon again. So it's like you can't get vintage photo in a pad anymore. This came in that set that I was just talking about. Otherwise you have to buy a DIY pad, just a blank pad, and then the re-inker to even be able to do that. So it's kind of frustrating, actually. So stamp. So I'm just going to do some script stamping here. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, this is going pretty well. So now we're gonna, I'm trying to debate, I'm debating. I think we're gonna go ahead and put all of our stuff on, and then I'll do some stitching around them. Is that what I want to do? I also want to get a watercolor pencil. Let me see if I've got something just within reach here. Okay, I actually grabbed my basket of the Inktense pencils. So the cool thing about these is they're a pigment ink, but they dry permanent. So they're really great for what I'm going to be using them for. So I'm just looking for a color with an outline. Oh, an outliner. Maybe that would work. Also outliners. Deep Indian. Charcoal gray, deep indigo, Indian ink. You know what color Indian ink is? Let's see. Yeah, that would work. So I'm going to do some outlining around it with some of this Indian ink, and I've got my water brush here to wet that when we're done. So I'm just going to do that really quick, just to create a little bit of a border. Just a scratchy border. These blend incredibly well. I don't do this much, so I always forget about it, so I'm a little bit clumsy. A little clumsy. I just want a little bit of a dark border, that's all I'm going for here. Nothing special, nothing perfect. Just, I do want that to spread out. I should have gone closer to the edge. I'm not really caring for that. But I'm going to show you, you can't pat it up, so watch this. It's permanent. But that's okay. That's one. So this time I'm going to go a little bit lighter. I'm going to go ahead and speed this part up, guys. I'm not going to do the borders on that one. I'm not sure that I'm a big fan of that, so we're going to go ahead and forego that on the rest of them. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my little bits here. I'm going to set these ones aside, and we can come back to those in a second. And I'm going to come in with this really bright purple one, and she's going to go on one of these. And actually, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in with my black ink. I think that'll be easier, so I'm just grabbing my black dauber here. I'm going to go around the edges here with the black, which basically has the same effect. That might fix what I don't like on those other two as well. Those lines are just too messy for me. So let me do all 4 of these and I'll be right back. Yeah, this is helping even these cards because they're It's filling in some of those areas that are a little bit lighter. This is too thick of a back of a border for me, but we're gonna go with it. Part of the process. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and ink. I'll ink as I go, but I will speed through that, or yeah, speed through it or cut it out, not sure. Okay, we're just about done with the first one here. This is basically just a cluster that I'm doing in a little bit more of an elongated way than I normally would. So, and I've reversed them after I inked them so that I remember what order they went in. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac just because it's just easier. It's just easier in every way, shape and form for me. So we're going to go ahead and start with this. I do want to think about if I want any, yeah, I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to add lace or anything to them. I'm just going to slap it on. So we're just going to kind of lay this out. Which fairy was this? One of them has to kind of be standing on something, so just to make it work. So, and she is facing, this is the other thing to think about, she's facing this way. So I'm going to put my cluster over here, right? Oh, come on, Cara-Renee. Nope, the cluster's going to go over on this side. So we're going to lose some of what we just created, but that is just the nature of this process. And so this would be a great way to use your scraps. Really, really great way to use scraps because it doesn't take anything at all. These are all scraps from the kits that I'm using right now. My glue does not want to stand up. And I'm going to kind of go over there. It's just kind of creating, you guys have seen me, if you've been watching me any length of time, seen me do clusters. This is basically what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to think about how I want her to be. Oh, she's beautiful on that bit. So I want this little bit here. Yep. Gorgeous. It would be really pretty with a layer of lace, but I'm not gonna succumb to that temptation. And we're just gonna roll with this the way it is. So I'm just gonna kind of go like that. And then I'm gonna put this is a piece of handmade paper. It's actually from Taperology, so I'm going to put that under her right here. Actually, do I want to do that too much because I don't want it to cover everything up? I think that will be okay. So I'm just going to put it on here. You could also use cheesecloth or any other kind of fibrous kind of paper stuff that you wanted to. My bottle is top heavy, so there we go. So let's get that on there. I just don't want to cover up too much of that beauty. Right there. Perfect. We can still see all that beautiful purple. And we're going to put our fairy right there. Oh, I love this. This was so cool. Very cool process. Thank you, Shana. I've done them before, but I always make them more complicated than they need to be. So I'm just going to slide her over a little bit so she's just kind of sitting there. And off camera I probably will grab a sentiment or something to put on here. I am moving her up because I want to stitch around, so just moving her a smidge. So there is our first one. Isn't that so cool? Oh, I love it. I have a new love, you guys. So let's go ahead and do the other purple one, which is this girl. This little fairy girl. Uh-oh. 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 Doggone it. Oh, I don't remember how I did that. So I am going to tear this down. I can already tell it's too big for this beautiful background. So I'm going to go ahead and ink these up as well. So you definitely would not have to ink all this stuff up. It's just what I prefer, so that's what I'm doing. I like the vintage look, so that's what I'm going for. There we go. Okay, and then this is a piece of, I wanted to show you guys, I set it over here. So I got some soap. Well, I'll just show you this. I bought at a farmer's market, I bought a bar of lavender soap, and it came wrapped up in this. It's like a paper. What do you call that paper? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the word right now. So we're going to use that. So really pretty. So I want my fairy facing the other way on this one. I want her facing that way. That way. So we're going to just start gluing these bits on as well. I may have to do some of these for the travel journal as well, the shabby travel journal. That is for the 3,000 subscriber giveaway. So if you're watching this video and you want to enter into the drawing, the qualifications are you need to be a resident of the United States or Canada. Unfortunately, I cannot send overseas internationally. And you need to like every video in the Shabby Journal playlist, and you need to leave a comment on each of those videos about 2 of your favorite creators. Now you can name the same 2 creators you want if you want, or you can name different ones. Totally up to you. But I like that engagement, and I want to give more visibility to more channels. So if you've got somebody that's a smaller channel, that would be even more epic, because they need that exposure. So, and we want to lift our community up. So, yeah. So, and then I'm not sure when I'm going to be working on it again. I'm so enjoying the fairy journals right now that I'm having a hard time getting back to that one, even though the kit is fantastic. But I plan to do a couple videos here soon. So I thought I wanted this on here, which I think I still do, because look at that. Wouldn't that be so beautiful to have that little flower sticking out right there? I love that. We're going to lose our ladybug, I think, unless I can move that down a little bit. Look at that. We can get the ladybug in there. Let's do it. And again, I'm just going to use my Fabri-Tac just because it's the easier thing here. I don't really know how it behaves on this kind of material. What do they call this? I never can remember the name. It's a handmade paper, but they sell it, you know, like in the craft store or whatever. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to put that down. I want that ladybug to be kind of low so that we can see her. Look at that adorableness. Oh, and then she's kind of standing up, actually, a little bit straighter than I had her. Now, we're going to have trouble because she's bigger than the, she's as big as the card. So when I stitch, I'm going to actually not go to the edge on the top of her and her feet, because I don't want to get this glue stuck in my machine. So I'm just going to go that far because I'm going to have to stitch over her legs and her, maybe. We'll see how this goes. Maybe not. Oh, that's so beautiful. I feel like that's crooked though, but it's too late. Look at that. That is so freaking adorable. Pardon me. Pardon me. That is so sweet. A little humanity there, guys. Like I said, it's been a rough day. It's been a rough week. Got a new student, and so that changes are always challenging when you work in special education, because our students get used to things being a certain way. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, let me turn these back over. I did it wrong. That's okay. So we want that layer. I want the paper first. So I'm going to ink these up, and I will be right back. Isn't she the sweetest thing ever? Ever, ever, ever. Her little wings. And I noticed when I looked at her closer, she's kind of like flying on that branch. So I'm kind of designing this one a little bit differently in the layout to capitalize on that little sweet thing. There we go. So this is the perfect card for this one. I believe this is the one, right? Yep. It's still a little bit brighter than I thought. Huh. Interesting. So the idea was to put this kind of low. Well, actually, we've got this first, and then this, pardon me, this, then a little bit of vellum, and then this, kind of in my normal layered way. And then because she's kind of flying on this thing, I thought I'd put this down here, and then she can kind of be on it like that. So we need to move that down and down and down like that. And again, she's going to have to be kind of stitched over as well. So let's just get going here. I was just thinking there if I wanted to trim this down a little bit, but I don't. So it's going to go kind of far down here, kind of like so. And then this is going to be kind of the shelf that she sits on. So kind of. I mean, I guess she could kind of sit like that. That would be the way to do it, is like that. So, oh, this is crooked. Let's fix that. Okay, so feeling like I need to glue her on here first, just so that it's the right way. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this edge and just get her in place, and then we can glue those two pieces together on the base. So like so, just like so. She's so adorable, isn't she? Oh, I am loving this process. So fun. So again, guys, any inks like Distress inks, Distress Oxide inks, Distress sprays, Distress any kind of sprays would work. I actually thought I still have those glitter pigments, but I didn't really want to go that route with this for some reason. I wanted to keep it more vintagey and rather not as bright. So there we go. So that is our, she's so stinking adorable. I love it. Okay, one more and then we will be done. So let me ink these up and I'll be right back. Okay, just to the last pieces here. I'm not a big fan of the border that I did on this, but you know, that happens when we're experimenting with different techniques. So I'm going to embrace that. So I'm just going to look at my fairy and see what direction she's going. So she is going this way, so we want everything else over here. I want that green to show. So I'm going to put that, I'm almost debating now if I want this. I think I want this as the first layer because I don't want that to blend in too much with the background. So sorry, I realized I was sitting back, and it doesn't make your view very nice, does it? Oh, I love that. Okay, so do we want this? I don't know that we really need this, although I thought that it would be really pretty. Oh, we could put our sentiment on that. I think I will use that. Make a nice little base for a sentiment. But I will do those off camera, guys. So I can let you go and you can get on with your day. I did pull a piece of a tea bag that I thought would be kind of cool, but now I don't think I'm going to use that because I really wanted to stick it under there, but we're just going to put our little fairy here kind of on the end. And I will bid you farewell until next time. Thanks again for stopping by. And I very rarely do this, guys, but if you like the content, in fact, I don't even remember the last time I said this. If you like the content that I'm creating, if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell, because what happens with YouTube has these strange algorithms that are really persnickety and they're not very favorable. And so when you hit the notification bell, then you get notified. Otherwise, you won't see my videos pop up. You won't even see them in your feed because that's just the way the algorithms work. It also helps other people to see my content. And, you know, who knows, there might be some fantastic fairy lover out there that needs to just see some fairy creations. So there that is. So anyway, I don't ever do that. But if you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and I thank you so much for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.